get that on the way, but at least we can get a bit of a chat going right now. Just waiting for it to say we're A-OK, and we are good to go. Hey guys, how you going? So today on BK Sport, we're going to be doing a bit of an Origin preview. Now, I did obviously put out on my Instagram today whether you guys wanted a video or you wanted me to do a live stream, and I thought, you know what, well, we did a live stream to the video last week as well, and you guys seem to enjoy it, so I thought we'll do it again here and go through the State of Origin teams and my preview and analysis and talk to you guys in the chat as well. Obviously, we'll read through the team list. I'll go through the history of Game 3 and why State of Origin is usually quite predictable, followed by kind of answering your questions and whatnot, and then I'll tell you who I am tipping here for this game. So guys, obviously hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe when you're around here. I do really appreciate you as per usual. I'm more than likely going to be streaming on Wednesday because I can't seem to find an individual ticket. So I'm more than likely will be streaming here with you guys, with you Muppets on Wednesday night for the game, which will be absolutely awesome. Also, I have made the chat members only just for this one. The tipping videos, I'm always going to make members only chat. Just simply because it's a way for me to give back to the members for supporting the content. Obviously, it's only $5. And, you know, they're supporting what I'm doing, man, supporting the growth. So I thought maybe just the one video each week with the tipping where they can have their own little time to shine there in the chat. But, alrighty, guys, let's get into the two teams here that will be playing together at Suncorp Stadium on Wednesday. So, obviously, Queensland, it is a home game for them. And a home game in Game 3 is always very, very crucial. This game is actually really, really tough statistically and historically because although it is very predictable how this game is going to go, it's also not predictable in a lot of factors simply because of there's so many kind of positives that lean towards Queensland, and there's also a lot of positives that lean towards New South Wales. And we'll get into that in this video here, but it's not as simple as saying Blues 13+. And it's also not as simple as saying Queensland 13+. And I don't think that there is a world Queensland 13+ realistically happens there. And there is a world where New South Wales win 13+. But I think that overall, no matter what, this is going to be a 1-12 here. And like I said, we'll go through the stats of the series and we'll go through the stats of Game 3s throughout time just to kind of prove that prove that in the end there. But let's read a little bit of the chat here first before I do get into the two-team lives there. Antanas is members only. Oh, yeah, it is members only here, mate. Members only. Antanas is Maroons. 16-12, come on. Yeah, you are going on... You are going on games. So good luck with that one there, Antanas. I saw your message. I'll get back to your message, by the way, on Instagram as soon as I possibly can. Blizzard says Queensland 1-12. Would love to see it, man. But anyway, you know what? You guys are giving your predictions, and I don't want to see your predictions. I don't want you guys to contaminate me. Don't contaminate me. You members are contaminating my thought process right now. But all right, so for Queensland, Inns, Bo Firma, Hamisa Tapuaifido, Sammy Walker, Thomas Flegler, and Tommy Gilbert all come in there with Felice Kafusi going out. I love, obviously, that Bo Firma comes in, but obviously he's not going in straight into the team. And you're also seeing Hamisa come in there, but Hamisa will also not be coming into the team there because they have brought in... have they brought in Corey? This is actually the wrong team list right now. They haven't got Corey Oates here still. They haven't got Corey Oates, so I'm pretty certain. So let's go through the team here. Callum Ponga is the fullback. Absolutely great fullback there. Really underrated because you guys are saying he's overrated. I think it's absolutely disgustingly stupid that people are saying he's overrated when, because you're saying that, he's now underrated. He's a very good player at the Knights. Unfortunately, there's not enough talent around him to really get his motor going. He does so much work there for the Knights when he's there, but unfortunately, he doesn't have the talent around them for me. So that's why I believe that he's actually become underrated because you Muppets are saying he's overrated when he's not. He's a good player. He had great game 1, had fine game 2. There's nothing wrong with Callum Ponga. Stop saying he's overrated. You look stupid. On the wings there, Selwyn Cobbo and Murray Talangi. But Murray Talangi is not actually going to be there. It's going to be, I believe, Corey Oates. So they've still got Murray there. I'm pretty certain, obviously, he's going to be coming out there with COVID. They've still got Munster here. NRL.com, you got to update this app here. But they got, I'm pretty certain that Corey Oates, you know what, I'm actually going to check the chat here just to make sure that I am right here. Because Hamisa could be coming onto the wing if I'm not, I'm pretty certain Corey Oates is going to be the starter though, yeah? Can you guys in the chat let me know if that is the case while I go through this here? Because they've still got Munster in the team as well. Dane Gagai and Val Holmes are in the centres there. I thought, and I said this after the second game, although people want to get rid of Dane Gagai, and I've been saying Dane Gagai is probably, you know, a little bit on the older side for a few years now, and not exactly where he was at basically in 2017 when he won the, what's the series medal again called? Gee whiz, I can't even think of what the medal is called in the series. It is the Wally Lewis medal. Gee whiz, I'm all over the shop. Dane Gagai won it. So, although he won it back then, I think since then he's definitely regressed defensively. I still think he's got a bit in him when it comes to attack, but yeah, I think that overall you'd start to kind of phase him out after this game here. But you definitely weren't going to be changing him for an inexperienced centre. You definitely wouldn't be changing him for an inexperienced centre going into a game 3, a big game decider at Suncorp. Going into the halves, I believe Tommy Dearden comes into that 6 role. They could have gone Ben Hunt into the 6 with Harry Grant going to the 9 and Cherry Evans saying 7, but I believe they've decided to go with Dearden in that 6 from the Cowboys, having a good season there with Chaddy Townsend. He comes in and, he should be all right. I hope he's all right, man. He's a young bloke who, this is probably going to be his only ever crack because Munster will hold this position for a very long time, so I'm going to mute my phone. Munster will hold his position for a very long time here. So it's going to be like the Jake Friend effect to Cameron Smith and with Tommy Dearden. He's probably not going to get too much of a crack there. I'm actually surprised Sammy Walker didn't really get too much of a go. But I guess Dearden is more specified as a 6 rather than Sammy Walker, who is more so a 7. And that's the way the Roosters are kind of playing them there. Cherry Evans, he's the halfback, obviously experienced head, has done it before when they've been labelled the worst team in Queensland history. But as I say, you'll see the stats on why this is quite a repetitive game. Lindsay Collins and Josh Papali'i in the front row. Hopefully Lindsay Collins can play like he did in that first game. That was an unbelievable game there from Lindsay Collins in game 1, but game 2 absolutely disappeared. Same with Josh Papali'i. And now there's big news about Josh Papali'i saying he might play for Samoa. Like, bro, guys, just shush, please. Wait for after Origin, man. Come on, man. There's no point them all talking about it right now. I can't believe that people like Brian To'o and Josh Papali'i and Jerome Luai and all that are bringing this up right now before Origin finishes. Just shush and just wait for the game to be done, and then we'll talk about you guys going to Samoa so that you don't play next week. Gee whiz. So Ben Hunt goes into the number 9 there, which I love. Obviously, he stays there from the number 9. Where they were successful in game 1. Obviously, game 2 was a struggle, but statistically speaking, very repetitive. They go into the back row, Kurt Catewell and Jeremiah Nanai. So Nanai starts. I've been saying all series, he doesn't bring anything off the bench. You start him. If you're going to have him in the team, you may as well start him. Obviously, I would have loved to see Bo Firma there, but Jeremiah Nanai is a great player there for the Cowboys, and I really hope that he can get a good motor going in this game because when he's on, man, he's on. Kurt Catewell, he's usually quite solid. He's not really a game changer, but he's usually quite solid. And then Tino Fa'asuamaleaui didn't get enough minutes last time out. Didn't get enough minutes in that game too. Hopefully he gets more minutes in game 3 here. Going to interchange, Harry Grant, Jai Arrow, Paddy Carrigan, and Tommy Gilbert. Tom Gilbert obviously debuts here. Doesn't even have a photo at the moment. Look, I don't mind that bench there, especially Harry Grant, Paddy Carrigan. Jai Arrow needs to really improve from that game too, though. Honestly, I think that he really needs to improve from that game too because he was really, really poor. I'm sorry, Sammy Walker was actually brought into the extra reserves, though. He was brought into the extra reserves. He might even be the 18th man. He might even be the 18th man in this game. And then, obviously, Flegler, Dearden, Bo Firma, Hamis Tabuai-Foto, and Sammy Walker were all on the reserves, but Dearden has obviously been included there. So that's the Queensland team there, guys. Let's go and move into exactly right entertaining us. Ben Hunt, 2021 Origin Game 3. Yeah, it was a fantastic performance by him. Obviously, he actually won Queensland the game, in my personal opinion, in Game 3, in a close one there. Funny that, it's a close one, right? Exactly right. People thought it was going to be a blowout, just like they thought 2019 would be a blowout, and it wasn't either. New South Wales won that one, but the fact of the matter is, it's always close. For New South Wales, Queen Gutho comes in there with Jack Whiten, Jacob Saifidi, Jordan McLean, and Reece Robson going in. But I'm pretty certain McLean's out. Like I said, guys, NRL app is not live. It's not up to date here. And Payne Hunt is out. So James Tedesco, he's the fullback. We all know how he's the best fullback in the game. People misconstrue my words and say that I said that Tedesco was better than Trbojevic last year. No, I just said last year that Tedesco is still the best fullback in the game. No doubt about it. If you don't think he's a good player, you are an idiot. And we've seen a lot of people on different social medias lately being saying Tedesco is terrible defensively. You are an idiot. Just you're stupid. Please shush. Brian To'o and Daniel Tupou go on the wings there. Obviously, Daniel Tupou has warranted his selection throughout the series so far. People complained about him for Game 2 and Game 1, saying Josh McCarr should be there, but you can't drop Daniel Tupou. He's had a good couple of games here. Obviously, you'd love to see out of Carr that extra spice, but Daniel Tupou has been really solid, and the numbers have been showing it. He might not be necessarily seen as much as what Addo Carr would probably be, but Tupou's been very solid. He's really been getting the job done, which has been really nice to see him kind of prove the doubters wrong, and that's me too. I doubted him going into this series, but obviously, he's been pretty solid throughout the first 2 games. Matty Burton, how unbelievable was he in Game 2? It was just simply unbelievable. And then Stephen Crichton in the centre. I would have preferred Jack Whiten as the centre. Obviously, I'm a Queenslander, but I would have loved to see Jack Whiten there. He had an unreal Game 1. Game 2, he was out with COVID, I believe it was, so Stephen Crichton came in there, and I didn't really see too much from Crichton, but I guess that Freddie was too scared to change the team, because obviously everyone always says that New South Wales changed their team so much. So he probably didn't change it for that reason, because I genuinely believe that Crichton is the wrong play. I genuinely believe Jack Whiten was the right play there. The 5'8", Jerome Luai with Nathan Cleary in the half back. That is a great halves pairing. You can't complain about that. They got Jordan McLean here in the prop with Jay Chaboyevich, but I'm pretty certain McLean is out. So I believe Junior Paulo comes in to start there for the Blues, and they bring... Who do they bring on here? I think Jacob Saifidi, I believe, makes his debut on the reserves in the interchange, if I'm not mistaken. Please correct me if I'm wrong, members in the chat. And then number 9 is Apisai Gorosau. I love Jay Chaboyevich coming back in this team, though, for Game 2. I thought he was really good. I think he was impressive, and I thought that he was really necessary for their win. And I think Api Gorosau, obviously, he goes back to the number 9 role there. A bit of the copycat move there from Freddie Fittler. But it worked in Game 2. It wasn't the hookers that won the game, though, for New South Wales. It wasn't the hookers that won the game, but... You know, it fairly enough worked, I guess. Cameron Murray goes to the back row with Liam Martin. That's fine. And then Isaiah Yeo, the best lock in the game, he'll go to the lock role there with Damien Cook, Angus Crichton, Junior Paulo, and Ceci Patatakai as the interchange. With Jack White, Nico Hines, Clinton Gutherson, James Safidi, and Reece Robson there on the reserves. So, look, obviously, based on those two teams, and I'm going to really, really specify this, based on the teams on paper, the Blues win this game. Based on the teams on paper, the Blues win this game. Tedesco, he will beat out Ponga there. Brian O, he will beat out Selwyn Cobbo, Matty Burton and Valentine Holmes. I actually personally would still link Valentine Holmes. I think Burton can be still very much rocks and diamonds. But Burton, if he's on, he'll be beating Valentine Holmes there. Dango and Crichton, I'm actually taking Gagai there, even though I've been saying he's a bit weaker for a few years now. I'm taking Gagai there. Then you've got Daniel Tupou going up against the other winger, Corey Oates. I'm taking Tupou. Luai versus Dean. I'm taking Luai. Cleary versus Cherry Evans. I'm taking Cleary. You know what I'm saying? Like, each and every player here, you get to the forwards and then it starts to get a little more evened out there. But, you know, each and every position here, you're leaning with the Blues. So, like I said, just to preface, it is based on the teams themselves and the names and paper. I would take New South Wales to win this game. Now, let's go and have a look at the kind of history of the series, right? So, you actually find throughout, and this is obviously regarding more so the result of the series rather than specifically Game 3. If you go and have a look throughout, Queensland won pretty much the majority of the 80s. Then the Blues won pretty much all the 90s. They had the early 2000s before Queensland then went on that, 10 to 11-year streak of 10 out of 11 times from the mid-2000s onwards. And then you're seeing that New South Wales have started to creep back into it with the 2018, 2019, and 2021 series. So it looks like they're going to go on their run. Origin is all about runs. It's all about runs here. And that's why that's probably going to give the advantage there to New South Wales in those run departments. And you've even seen that with the women's team as well. Queensland won for about a dead set 17 years straight from 1999 to about 2015 or whatever it was before they finally lost to New South Wales. Origin is all about runs. And this series is going to be incredibly... it is actually still difficult because the Blues still could easily go on a run here with that 2018 onwards, even if they were to lose this game, this series. But you would probably be more inclined to lean with the Blues based off of what I've just said there. Now, you'll also go and have a look at Game 3s. Now, I had this up before here. I did have this up before, and you're going to notice something that is pretty obvious. Let's just go here to, that's the 87. Let's go up here to Game 3. All right, so Game 3, where is this? Why is that all the way back in 1982? I don't need to hear about 1982. I had this ready to rock and roll, but now it's all over shop. Now it's all over. Okay, now here we go. So, Game 3 last year, Queensland won 20-18. We all know Ben Hunt had a great game there at Seabus Stadium. Last year was a throwaway year, guys. Last year was a throwaway year, unfortunately, for Queensland. That was a different year. That was a very one-off kind of situation where it was just... not last year, sorry. 2020 was a throwaway year due to COVID, and Queensland won that one. Last year was a throwaway year in regards to all the statistics and the historical kind of points that Origin usually brings there. It was so blown out. Besides Game 3, Game 3 was still very typical, but Game 1 and 2 were very much blown out, which really defied what normally happens in Origin. So I don't necessarily really look towards any other game last year to look at the statistics previously, but I do still look at that Game 3, and it was a 20-18 win in Queensland. Now, Queensland were the underdogs, obviously. They lost the first two games 26-0 and 50-6, right? Queensland then go and win Game 3, 20-18. Cool, I know players were out there for the Blues, but the fact of the matter is they still put their best players they could out there, and they lost. So Queensland won that one. You go back to Game 3 in 2020, Queensland won 20-14. So it's going to be a pretty similar scoreline there, 20-18, 20-14, 4 points difference. So it's usually kind of a mid-range score of 14 plus for the losing side, and then you're normally seeing under the 22 marker there for the winning side. You go back to Game 3 in 2019 when Tedesco's got that try. It was only a 6-point game there, 26-20. That was a bit more of a high-scoring one, but it was an incredibly close game. Again, it's a little bit on the higher end, though. That's what I'm saying. It's not a small margin anymore. It's not a small points game anymore. It is actually starting to creep up a little bit, but it still remains close. Back in 2018, it was 18-12 to Queensland, right? So New South Wales won the first two games, and then Queensland won 18-12 in a very close one, around that 18, 16, 14 marker again. So always within that 6-point margin. Always within that 6-point margin. Actually, has there been a game that hasn't been 6 points in Game 3 lately? 2018? No. 2014? No. 26-20? No. 18-12? No in 2018. 22-6 was the only one so far in 2017 that was different. Obviously, Queensland won Game 2 and Game 3 of that series, and they won 22-6 there. Valentine Holmes scoring 3 tries. I think I was actually at that game, if I'm not mistaken. No, I can't remember. Yeah, I think I was. I think I vlogged it. I think I vlogged that game. And then you go back to 2016, so that was the outlier. Then you go back to 2016, 18-14 to New South Wales in Game 3. Congratulations. They won that game by 4 points. You go back to an outlier there in 2015 where it was 52-6. That was, I was actually at that game too. That was pretty wild. It always is a very close outcome, regardless of how the opening 2 games have gone, because usually Game 2 is a blowout score to the loser of Game 1 in a very high margin game. And that's exactly what we saw this year. It's exactly what we saw a high score blowout margin last year, but it was just the winner of the Game 1. So that advantage will lean with it going along with this next thing that I'm about to say, is that Game 3 is normally won by the home team. It is. It's normally won by the home team. Queensland were the home team in 2020. They won. Queensland were the home team in 2021. They won. New South Wales were the home team in 2019. They won. Queensland were the home team in 2018. They won. Queensland were the home team in 2017. They won. New South Wales were the home team in 2016. They won. Queensland were the home team 2015. They won. 2014, Queensland were the home team. They won. 2013, Queensland were the home team. They won. No, sorry. Queensland were not the home team. They were the away team there. That was at Stadium Australia. But you go back to Game 3, 2012. They won. Queensland, Lang Park. Lang Park again. They won. 2011. So in the last 10 years, the winner of the game has always come from the home team. In Game 3, barring 1 year. Barring just 1 year, the home team has been the winner. So that leans with Queensland, and with it being that close margin, you do get the advantage to Queensland there. So that's what I'm saying here. There are so many aspects that when people say there's going to be a blowout victory here to the Blues, I say it doesn't make sense. Historically speaking, it does not make sense. Yes, they've got the advantages there with the on-paper team. Yes, they've got the advantages in regards to, I guess, what was the other one that I was saying? I can't remember. They've got advantages, but Queensland have a massive advantage here with it being at home. At home in front of 53,000 people. It's like New South Wales in 2019 would have lost that game. 2019, they would have lost that series in Queensland. They were the better team by a long way. They won Game 2, 38-6. They lost Game 1, 18-14, obviously at Suncorp. But then obviously Game 3 was at Stadium Australia in Sydney, and they won 26-20 with James Tedesco scoring that second try. However, Queensland were massive, massive underdogs. 5-1 underdogs going into that game, and were down by 8 points, which is over two tries. And were able to get themselves back into the game with 8 minutes to go. They were down by 8 points with 8 minutes to go and came back and tied it. Unfortunately, Tedesco obviously broke away and scored the try. Fact of the matter is, people don't give it credit. They don't understand that this is going to be a close game. Whether you hate Queensland, you hate New South Wales, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, this is going to be a really, really close game. So, what would I tip in this game? Now, obviously, I am a Queensland fan. So, you have to define and decipher what I'm saying here and understand it from your perspective, right? Because from my perspective, I'm always going to lean with my team. And that's obvious, right? I believe, based on the stats that I've provided, that I truly believe, historically speaking, Queensland wins 1-12. That's what I would say. That's what I would personally go with there. But that's also, going against the fact that New South Wales have got the better team, and the Munster loss is huge. But we all know that Queensland has always been the underdog and New South Wales has always been the favourite. And Queensland at home, I truly believe we're going to be able to get the job done here. Now, this is not a guaranteed pick at all. This is going to come down to the wire. I honestly could see Queensland winning by 1. I think Queensland can win by 1. I think Blues can win by 1. I think it's going to be a 2019 game all over again. I think it'll be a very, very close game that will come out of the wire. And I think the home advantage is going to get the job done there with that Game 3 advantage, with that home ground advantage that we've just gone over there. I think that if I'm going based off what I keep saying, in that Origin is usually very predictable, Queensland win this game very close. Very close. So let me know what your thoughts are in the chat, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts before we jump off. We'll probably be on here for maybe 10 or so minutes. We'll go for the 30 minutes here for the tipping preview. But yeah, like, look, obviously I was always going to argue that, but with the stats that I've just shown, that's what I would be leaning with here. And I believe in what I've kind of said. I believe in what I've said in the sense that Origin is very predictable. It always is, and it always will be, besides a couple of outliers here and there. Because the last 10 years, it's always the home team. It is always the home team in the last 10 years. Entertainer says, Ben Hunter 21, Origin Game 3. Yeah, it was amazing. Eliza Ford says, hello, Eliza. Sasha Kellum says, this is going to be a tight game on Wednesday. Can't wait. It will be. Yeah, it's going to be close. It's going to be very close, and it's going to be exciting. You know, it's going to come down to the wire, and I'm going to have to cop shit either way. You know, it's going to be tough. And if it is a blowout, then kudos to Blues for defying the regularity of Origin, because they would need to defy the constant reality of what I've just outlined, obviously. But it says Elon Musk ratio Jeff Bezos on Twitter. Cool, mate. X-Factor says he's saying Queensland won at 12, Holmes to score and Hart to score. Jeery me. Zampai with the dollar dono. Appreciate, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the dollar dono, Zampai. But I don't know about try scorers. I think that this game could end 20-18. I think it could be 21-20. I'll get to you in a second, Dean. I'll deal with you in a second. But 21-20 is probably a scoreline I would lean with. I would lean with 21-20 or a 19-18 kind of game. I would lean with a 1-point game, personally. X-Ray says Ethan Lowe played insane on debut that game. Ethan Lowe, yeah, geez. Where is he? He's still cracking on, isn't he? Where is he? Is he the Rabbitohs? Is he the Rabbitohs or is he Cowboys? No, I think about Cohen Hess there. Ethan Lowe, I think, was at the Cowboys. I think he went to the Rabbitohs, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe. But Dean says, I'm a Maroons supporter, but it's looking real grim for us, to be honest. So I understand why you say this comment. I do. I get it. I understand why you... Firstly, you're always going to be put on the back foot as a Queenslander because the media always dribbles it in, especially if you're in New South Wales. You're never going to think Queensland's going to win this game. And if you're in Queensland, you're more than likely going to be, as a Blues fan, the exact same, right? But I just, based on what I've just told you, it doesn't make sense for a New South Wales blowout. It doesn't. On paper, they've got the better team. But it doesn't make sense in regards to the historical margins that we've seen throughout this series. Always. Every year. Like I said, the last 10 years. If you want me to go back even further, Game 3. So Game 3 last year, 2018. Home team, Queensland win at BRISBANE Stadium. Back in 2020, Queensland win, home team, Lang Park. New South Wales win, Stadium Australia, 2019. Queensland, 18-12 at Lang Park, 2018. 2017, Lang Park, Queensland win. 2016, Stadium Australia, New South Wales win. 2015, Lang Park, Queensland win 52-6. 2014, Queensland, Lang Park, 32-6. 2013, Queensland, Stadium Australia. There's the outlier. And there's no way, not me saying that there might not be an outlier here, but I'm just saying based on this. 2012, Queensland, home team, Lang Park, they got the dub there. Queensland, Lang Park, 2011, they got the dub there. Queensland did outlier back in 2010, 23-18 New South Wales. You know, it's an outlier when it happens. So if it does happen, cool, and I understand why you would doubt considering Munster's out. It is a massive out. But I've also seen players come and go all the time in Origin, and yet State of Origin remains very, 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 very much repetitive. XS is medically retired. Oh, there you go. Who am I thinking about then? There must be somebody else I'm thinking about right now, Rabbitohs. Unless he did go from the Cowboys to Rabbitohs before he did medically retire. But yeah, look, I just think that I understand why Queenslanders would be on the back foot. I understand why you would think that we have no chance. But you've also got to remember that Queensland, and I said this before briefly, is that Queensland have always been the underdogs. Queensland University of New South Wales has not only just been about rugby league. This is a face to a rivalry, and more so when it comes down to politically speaking, plus also the way the two states are run. Queensland have always been the underdog to New South Wales in a lot of factors, you know, and you only kind of understand what I'm saying here if you've grown up in the two states. Queensland has always been the underdog. They've always been the underdog. And New South Wales always have been we think we're better than everybody else. So that's why Queensland has more series wins as well, mind you, because it actually kind of normally, for me anyway, I believe that it does mean more to Queensland overall. I think that New South Wales fans are pretty happy with everything being based in New South Wales as it is. I'm pretty certain for me, this is my true belief. Obviously, if you're a New South Wales fan, you can shit on it all you like. This is just my opinion for what I see it. But I think that winning Origin does mean more individually to Queenslanders than to New South Wales, because New South Wales pretty much have it all anyway, if you know what I'm saying there. And for Queensland, they just want to have that big win over New South Wales for me. So I think that more so out of Queensland, it's a lot of other factors. For New South Wales, it's more about just having another trophy for the cabinet, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, that's why I believe that Queensland normally does win. But that's my thoughts there, guys. I got Queensland 1 to 12. I got Queensland by 1. My prediction, I'll go 19 to 18, or even 21 to 20. One of the two there. Close enough. It's going to be a good game. Obviously, I'm more than likely to be streaming it. If you aren't following me on BK Sport YouTube, TikTok, or BK Sport Instagram, then you need to, because that's when I'm going to be updating you whether I'm going to the game or not. Obviously, we've got a big weekend and streaming the NRL on the weekend anyway, so we'll be smacking that one up. Actually, sorry, on Saturday it's going to be tough, though, because I'll be going to the Titans-Broncos game. Now, guys, we may do another one of these on Thursday. Oh, no, I'm going to be going to the Leeds versus Brisbane Roar game. So Leeds play Brisbane Roar on Thursday night at Seabus Stadium, so I'll be going to that one more than likely. So I might have to put a video out this week of my tips. They'll come out on Thursday, though. So my tips for the NRL will come out on Thursday. Oh, but I want to do a review of the Origin players like we did last time. I'm not too sure. We're going to have to figure it out. Maybe even I'll put my NRL team video out early morning, like a 9 a.m. On Thursday kind of deal. I'm not too sure. We're going to have to figure that one out. But anyway, guys, I'm going to jump off it for now. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Yeah, obviously, it's going to be a huge week here for State of Origin Game 3, and I hope you're ready for a big one. So hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya. Over the Maroons, baby. Over the Maroons.